All right, welcome back. Well, today is primary day in New Hampshire. Florida's primary isn't until March 14th, and the deadline to register for it here in the Sunshine State is next week.
But still in limbo is the right to vote for ex-felons. Voters approved it in a constitutional amendment, but since then, they've been told they need to pay their fines before being able to vote. Here's NBC6's Dan Grossman with tonight's breakdown on Amendment 4.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Florida's voter registration deadline will be here. And right now, hundreds of thousands of Florida voters are in limbo with no idea if they'll be able to file paperwork for it. It's all because of Amendment 4 and the mess it is currently in. It's what we're talking about this week on The Breakdown. If you remember, Amendment 4 restored voting rights to nearly 1.4 million Florida felons after it was approved by voters in November of 2018. That changed, though, the following May, when the state legislature passed Senate Bill 7066, which said felons could register, quote, only after he or she has completed all terms of his or her sentence, including fines and fees.
We do know that the legislature has been trending towards limiting citizens' initiatives, and we're watching them do that again this session that we're in right now.
Patty Brigham is with the League of Women Voters, which sued the state over the bill, saying the stipulation was unconstitutional as it amounted to nothing more than a poll tax.
In the U.S. Constitution, it is prohibited to charge a tax or to force these ex-felons to pay fees that they cannot afford.
This is really a travesty and just speaks to how badly they don't want people to vote.
Nyla Summers is with the group Dream Defenders and says the bill was a partisan way of suppressing the black vote as it left hundreds of thousands of felons who couldn't afford their fees without a recourse. But that changed once again a few months later in October, when a federal judge filed an injunction saying being too poor shouldn't keep those felons from voting. Governor DeSantis filed an appeal, which leads us to today, where the bill is currently being debated in an appeals court in Atlanta.
I mean, you've really just got to ask what they're afraid of, what they're invested in, and why is this benefiting them? I mean, these are critical questions that we need to be asking of the people who run this state.
We reached out to these 3 Republicans from South Florida who voted yes to Senate Bill 7066, but never got a response. All right, so as if this wasn't already convoluted enough, Florida doesn't have a great system of tracking a felon's restitution fees. Attorneys have argued it can make some felons scared of registering to vote because submitting false information on a voter registration form is a third-degree felony. Hey, hope you learned something on this week's Breakdown. I'm Dan Grossman. We'll see you next time.
We always learn a little something.
I was about to say the same thing. Yes, we do.
And that'll do it for the news at 5.